Hello, everybody. Greg.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
People are already here. Wow, we've already got a load of people here. Hello. God, that didn't take long. Everyone was pushing at the gates, trying to get in. Who's going to be first in the chat? Is it going to be me again? Is it me first this time? It is me first. Anyway, so we'll wait for that to warm up. Greg, Karina, Wook, how are you?
Oh, we're
great.
Yeah, how's the day going?
Good.
So this is a pretty massive day for the three of you. You've got 3 sessions all the time. So Wook, you did your easy peasy one. That's already done, I'm afraid, for you, isn't it? So for those of you who are listening yet so far, Wook is in Vietnam. So he's had his 4 p.m. session, which is very civilized. Unfortunately, it gets less and less civilized as your day goes on, Wook, I'm afraid. Greg, this is kind of okay for you, I think, now in Poland?
Yep.
Yeah, not too bad. And then it gets a bit later on. Karina, you kind of got the worst is kind of over and done with. You had your
yeah, it's done. Yeah, I had to wake up super early, but now it's super fine for me. It's 11 a.m. in Brazil, so perfect time. I'm very awake.
Amazing. And then you've got sort of a tea time, dinner time session later, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not so. I suppose no time is easy when you've got children as young as your kids, you, Karina. So
exactly.
You've got, yeah, young children.
Everything's a struggle.
Yes. There's never a good time. Okay, so let's start talking to everyone else here. Hello, everybody. Who have we got? Let's start shouting out some countries that we can see. Czech, Serbia, Portugal, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Bratislava, Kazakhstan, Lebanon, Spain, Vietnam. Amazing.
Amazing turnout.
God, we've already got so many people here.
Lots of colleagues from my country.
And we've also got everyone watching on Facebook and LinkedIn as well. We're live on Facebook and LinkedIn, I think. Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's so nice to see you. Thanks for coming to the Advancing Learning Day. So, Greg and Wook, I've got to very impolitely ask you to take a step back off the stage, if you don't mind, for a while.
See you guys soon, and good luck, Karina.
Yeah,
see you. Bye-bye.
See you later, guys. Okay, I've got something to share with you. Wait a second. Karina, can you just let me know if you can see that all right?
Yeah, we can. I can.
Good, great. So, no surprise to anybody here. I think you know what you're doing here. This is the Advancing Learning Day. We do this once a year. We usually sort of look at ELT in a different way and offer some, hopefully, some quite unique sessions, things that you haven't seen before. And I think we have met that today. We've got some really interesting things to talk about today. So the overarching theme of the sessions is being a teacher in 2023. What's it like? Let's just hear an adjective from everybody. One adjective from everybody in the room. What is it like being an ELT teacher in 2023? One adjective from everybody. Exhausting just came up about 4 times in a row. Fascinating, surprising, amazing, high, hello. Challenging, fun with 3 N's, innovative, awesome, creative. Well, there's loads of positive stuff. I'm so glad to see that that's all, not all just sort of exhausting and draining, but it's actually scary, overwhelming. Spiritual, Quran, lovely. Really cool. Good stuff. So, well, that's what this is all about today. This is for you and about you as well, the teachers of people who are teaching English as a foreign language in 2023. So we've got wonderful Karina Fragoso, who's starting off talking about social media influencing, or being active, I suppose, being active and present on social media. AI, making friends with AI. Maybe people are already friends with AI, but some people, I think, are not quite friends with AI. So Wook's going to be taking you through some really helpful ideas to help you get your mind around it, and some practical ideas too. And our very own Grzegorz Spiewak will be talking about how learning happens today, looking at previous methodologies and theorems, and looking at ones that are still relevant today that you should be keeping an eye out on still. to inform your classroom practice. So that's what's going on today. Just before you ask, I haven't seen it yet, but you will be getting an email in the next week. It won't be coming tomorrow. It certainly won't be today. It probably won't be by Friday. I imagine it will be sort of Monday. You'll get an email from us and it will have 2 links. The first link will be to your certificate with your name printed on it. The second one will be to a virtual goodie bag. And that will have some wonderful goodies, including the recordings from the sessions. They will include the presentations, very kindly donated by the speakers, and a few other yummy little bits, not actual food, but things that you hopefully will find useful too. So keep an eye out for that in the next week or so. Another thing, before I pass you on to Karina, I wanted to let you know about something we're doing for the rest of what we're doing for the rest of the year. So you have walked in on the Advancing Learning Academic Programme, if you weren't aware of that already. No, Seda, you don't need to sign anything. We've already got, you registered for this event. So we've already got your email and your name, so we can just send that across with your name printed on there. We've got everything we need. Thank you. Anyway, so the Advancing Learning Academic Programme kicks off today. And there are 3 more events coming up after today that I wanted to tell you about. So this is the Advancing Learning Day, kind of kicks off the academic year's training that we've got organised for you. The first event coming is Empowering Young Learners Day. And that is, as you can imagine, all about adult learners. No, only joking, just testing. It's all about teaching young learners. So if you are a teacher of young learners, that is an event that we have designed specifically for you and your context, with 3 particular themes, which we can explore on the website now, delivered by Anna, Claire, Sarah, and Marcella, you can see on the screen. That's on the 26th of October. On the 14th of November, we've got a day dedicated to teaching teenagers. So that hasn't got lots of 3 different sessions. That's actually more looking at motivating teenagers and making sure that every teenager in the classroom learns. So it's not looking at 3 different pedagogical areas entirely. It's kind of got a focus on an inclusive teenage classroom. So that's on Tuesday, the 14th of November, hosted by Dave Spencer, Usua Sol, and Maria Luisa Castanero. And then finally, on the 1st of December, we've got Educating Adults Day, where we've got Dorothy, Bahar, and Kate talking about all things educating adults. So that's for an event if you teach adults English. So we've set up these 3 because we wanted to make sure that people are coming to the events that are relevant to them, and specifically giving a session dedicated to young learners, then a whole day dedicated to teens, and a whole day dedicated to adults. So it's open for registration now. Go to the website macmillanenglish.com and you can register for them as we speak. We're going to be doing just a quick, so you know, we're going to be doing a couple of polls today, just to ask you a few things to keep it interesting. You don't need to answer, but if you want to, you can. I thought I'd just let you know, though. We're going to be doing a couple of polls based on what you're watching today. And that's it. I'm going to stop babbling about other things and focus on why we're here today. Karina, hello.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Thanks, Will.
You're very welcome. Welcome, Karina. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's great to see you. I saw your sessions this morning, and I've got to say it was absolutely amazing. It was so interesting. I can't wait to see it again. Even for teachers, even for people who aren't teaching English, it was useful, I think, as well. It was specific to English language teachers, I think, but I took loads from it. And I'm not actually a teacher. I don't teach, and that's not what I would do on social media. But I really took a lot from it, and you guys are in for an absolute cracker. I hope you enjoy it. So Karina is a PhD, one of our 3 PhDs. Everyone speaking today is a PhD. I feel like I feel completely undereducated to be here today. I haven't, but Karina does, Wook does, and Greg does. You have a PhD in linguistics, Karina. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Good stuff. You're a teacher, researcher, and content creator, an influencer, and you founded English in Brazil, which I think a lot of people here will have heard of. I certainly have. You're going to be, I won't talk about any more about English in Brazil. You're going to talk about that today a little bit, so I won't spoil the surprise. but I'm running over. So have a wonderful session, everyone. Karina, have a great session. I'll speak to you later.
Thank you very much, Will. Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. It's really amazing to see so many people from countries I've never been to in the chat box. So it's really amazing. I will share my screen because I prepared something for you. Okay, so as Will said, I'm going to talk about how to thrive as a social media influencer in ELT and how to have an online presence as a teacher. And I hope you feel inspired to, go online and maybe start a new business or improve your business, okay, as an English teacher. So I will talk about how I started on YouTube, how I maximize my earnings with online courses, why I think you, teachers, should have an online presence too, and also 10 practical steps to stand out on social media. So how I started on YouTube, it was a long time ago. It was 10 years ago. In the screenshot, you'll see 9 years ago, but it's going to be 10 years next month. So basically, I decided to record a video because many people would ask me how I learned English, how I had learned English without leaving Brazil. How did you learn English in Brazil? Hence, English in Brazil is the name of my channel. So I would always reply to, my Facebook friends and my students. So how did you learn? I would tell the same story all the time. So I thought, well, maybe at this time I could just record a video, upload this video to my blog because I used to have a blog in 2011. And then if anybody asks me this question, I'll just share the link and I don't have to explain everything again. But I uploaded the video to YouTube. I didn't even create a new channel. It was my Gmail account. I uploaded the video to YouTube, embedded the video to my blog. And I was very surprised when I noticed that I had reached 1,000 views in only 1 week. And I thought, well, who are these people? They're not my Facebook friends. They're not my students because I don't have 1,000 students. So I noticed that there was a potential for this content to reach more people because people were actually interested in what I had to share. So the title of my video was How I Learned English in a Short Period of Time. It's in Portuguese, as you can see, Como turbinei meu inglês em pouco tempo. And I didn't know anything about, titles and thumbnails, but I accidentally created a good title that really caught people's attention. And now this video has over 1 million views, which is funny because this is a very simple video. I had no equipment, but the content is good. So yeah, I think that's what really matters. So it was 10 years ago. And then when my channel started getting a little popular, I was still a little embarrassed of wanting to be a content creator because 10 years ago, I was studying to get my PhD degree. I was at the university and the academic world is very serious. So I really was, a little embarrassed to tell my classmates and my professors that I was sharing content on YouTube. And everything changed when I met the right people who were doing the same that I was doing. So here's the first piece of advice for all of you. If you're interested in having an online presence, you have to find other people who have the same interest, people who won't say you're silly because you're going online, who won't, mock you, because some people will do this at the beginning. And then once you get, once you're successful, people say, oh, it's so nice that you've reached 1 million followers. But back in the day, many people would say, you should study and not share videos. So here's my first piece of advice. You should walk with the right people because they will encourage you to keep going. So I just insisted on uploading more and more and more videos. And now I have almost 2 million subscribers. Of course, it's a long way. It was, this happened gradually during 10 years. And lots of things have changed, but this became my profession. I actually didn't I actually chose not to follow my first plan, which was my academic career, because my channel was already too big to be ignored. So I thought, well, maybe I will invest more time here and see if I can really make a living out of this channel, because it was a hobby in the past. And then I could find some brand use, and AdSense was already paying me some money. So I could have this, so I had this opportunity to really invest in my channel. And I'll tell you more about it later, how you can do it too. But then once I had, reached success on YouTube and social media, I thought, okay, I need to do something else, because I don't know if maybe one day YouTube just explodes. I don't want to depend on YouTube forever. So that's why I decided to maximize my earnings with online courses. So the first course I created is English in Brazil. It's a course with content from basic to advanced level. And I mean, there are recorded lessons, private lessons with other teachers, not me, because I can't teach everyone, group lessons with my team. There's exercises, lots of things for students to learn. So this course is, I can say it's a big success here in Brazil, because it's one of the most popular online English courses in the country. And then I noticed that some people didn't want to do this course, take this course, because it's a 200-hour course. It's a very long course. And some people just wanted to learn, English that is enough to, enough to travel and get by. So that's why we created the second course, which is SOS Viagem. So this is, in this course, there's no grammar, no specific, vocabulary, for example, for law or things like that. It's focused on travel and focused on dialogues. And it's a shorter course. And then we created a third course, because some people would finish in the English in Brazil course and wanted to do something more advanced. So we launched the Pronunciation Masters course with my partner, Rodrigo, who's in the picture. In this course, I teach phonetics, phonology, pronunciation, and everything related to what I learned during my PhD and my academic studies. So even though I'm not following the traditional academic path, my knowledge is still there, and I still use this academic knowledge to share content in my courses and my social media. So now I'm not alone. I have this amazing team of teachers. We're still a small team. We're not a huge team, but we do so many things together, and everybody works from home. So we actually have met, I mean, all of us have met only once in our lives, the day when we took this picture, because everybody works from a different part of the country. So my aim in this talk is not to say, you see, oh my God, I'm so successful, look at me. Of course, I want to inspire you, to show you that if you want to do something like I did, of course, it's possible. You can do this, anybody can. But I also want to show you that you don't need 1 million followers to be successful with your business online, with your online business, sorry. Then why I think you should have an online presence? I have some reasons here. You can use the chat box to interact with me as well, because I'm looking at you right now. The first reason is to connect with other people, of course, not only other students, but other teachers. So you have to be online for people to find you and know what you do, right? To make it possible for new students to find you. So imagine, I don't know about your countries, but in Brazil, there are some people who already uses Instagram, the search box, the search tool on Instagram, to look for professionals. For example, oh, I need a dentist, so I'll type dentist on Instagram and see what comes up. So then you click on the profile, you see if you like the work, you see if you like the person, and it's the same for English teachers, okay? It's like a portfolio there, where people can see the way you teach and can see your methodology. also to build credibility, authority, and a reputation. Of course, I'm not saying that numbers mean everything. You need numbers to have authority. But imagine if 5,000 people follow a certain teacher, well, this teacher must be good because, well, 5,000 people decided to follow him. So yes, it does help you build a reputation. To promote your services, of course, it can be your private lessons, group lessons, ebooks, courses, mentorship. It can be anything. Once you're online and you have an audience, you can promote your services and also to stand out amongst other teachers. When you're online, it's easier to show how good you are. And so it's easier for students to find you and it's easier for you to get new students. Okay, this is the mindset. And here I have a question. It's a quick activity for you. I've asked my audience what was more important to them when they started following a new English page. What do you think? What do you think is the most important thing here? What do you think they answered? You can use the chat box. Content, everybody's saying content, teaching skills, charisma, content, teaching skills. Nobody's saying technical quality, pronunciation. Well, let's see the answer. So this is what they answered. The first thing, can you believe that charisma is right up there together with content? So of course you gotta have good content, you gotta share good content, quality content, but charisma is also equally important. People have to build rapport with you. They have to connect with you. And this is one of the most important things. And this really impressed me because I think, well, people must follow me because I have a PhD. Maybe it's because they trust what I share. Yes, it might be true, but maybe it's also because they like me as a person. So this is really important, building rapport. Then teaching skills, objectivity, format, good pronunciation, qualifications. You see it's at the bottom. Nobody cares if you have a PhD, actually. And then technical quality is the least important thing. So this made me think of the importance of this quote here. So the best teacher is not necessarily the one who knows the most, but the one who connects best with their students. Do you agree with me? So it doesn't matter if you know a lot. You have to connect with your students. You got to build rapport. You got to build a relationship with your student, right? Some people are agreeing here with me. So maybe my English is not the most perfect English, and maybe I'm not the best English speaker in the country, but maybe because the way I teach, I can connect with my students. So that's why they like my work and follow me. And now I'm going to share the 10 practical steps to stand out on social media. Who wants to stand out on social media? Let me know in the comments here if you want to stand out on social media. And also if you are already on social media, if you have an Instagram page or something like that. I'm going to give you my best, my best tips, okay? So the first one is obviously choosing your teaching niche. Choose your teaching niche. So you have to know what you're going to teach. So are you going to teach general English for beginners, for advanced learners? Are you going to teach business English, exam preparation? It's better when you focus on a specific type of audience. I don't know if you can hear my baby, she's crying, but she will definitely stop in a minute. So I chose to teach general English to beginners and intermediate students. Of course, I have some projects for advanced students as well, but as only 3% of the population in Brazil is fluent in English, I think I would have I mean, it was a natural process, but I definitely can reach more people if I focus on beginners or intermediate learners. Also, you have to know your teaching style. Are you a more serious person? Do you teach more academic content? Or do you like teaching with a sense of humor? Of course, you have to be yourself, but it's nice when you have this in mind before you start your page. The second step is choose your platform or your platforms. I am on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and yeah, I create content for these social media. I don't create content for Twitter or LinkedIn, but I'm there. But you have to choose which platform are you going to be on. So I started on YouTube, but I will have to be very honest with you. I think it's easier to grow on Instagram and TikTok nowadays because so shorter videos are more popular now. So I definitely think starting something from scratch now is easier on Instagram because you have the hashtags, you can go live with other teachers. I think it's easier. But on YouTube, you can share longer content. I still love YouTube. It's my favorite platform. Somebody's saying that TikTok is the most popular platform in his country, in her country. Here, I mean, Brazil is a huge market, so many of these platforms are very popular here. Fourth step, plan your schedule. So how many videos or posts are you going to upload per week? 1, 2. So remember, constants is better than quantity. So if you decide to upload only 1 video a week, try to stick to this schedule. It's better than thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna make content, share content every day. You're gonna get tired and you are going to end up giving up. So when are you going to create this content? Between classes, on weekends. So you gotta, have an idea of how you are going to work and make this content, because at the beginning you're not getting any money. So you gotta find some time in your busy schedule to create this extra material to share on your social media. Number 5, be yourself. It might be, it might sound like a cliche, but you have to be yourself. So who are you as a teacher? Do you think you would like to share funny dialogues? Would you like to do TikTok dances, sharing tips and pointing at the tips? Well, it doesn't matter the style. You have to find your own style, okay? You have to do what makes you feel comfortable. So I like doing funny dialogues, for example, but I don't do TikTok dances because I'm a terrible dancer. I'd love to learn how to dance, but I would feel silly doing this. So I just don't do it. I don't feel comfortable doing this, and you don't need to, okay? And also don't be a robot, because sometimes we as teachers, we tend to want to be perfect. We tend to want to sound perfect, look perfect, and be very, very professional and very serious. But sometimes this ends up being a little bit boring. So some degree of vulnerability is super fine. When you say, well, I'm not sure about it, let me check it with you. Well, here's a new word I've learned, or, oh, this is a mistake that I used to make in the past. So people like it. People like seeing that you're a person, not just, a teacher or a machine that is sharing valuable content. But, well, you need to show yourself as a person. Remember, charisma is very important, but try to be yourself. Don't try to be someone you're not. Number 6, very, very important thing, be responsible. I don't know if you've seen videos with titles or thumbnails saying things like, stop saying how are you, because this is not common in the USA. This is not how native speakers speak. Don't say I'm fine, because nobody says I'm fine. This is incorrect English. Of course, there is right and wrong English, correct and incorrect English, but you got to be very careful when you prepare your content, because what may sound wrong in American English, for example, might be used in Irish English. And I have a real example from my experience. I have a video in which I'm teaching pronouns, and I say, well, you shouldn't say yous. We don't put the plural form in you, because it's the same for singular and plural. So you say you guys, you all, you girls. Don't say yous. And then I got lots of messages saying, well, but here in Ireland, believe it or not, people do use yous. It is used. It does exist in the language. And I was like, oh my God. So you gotta be careful. You gotta choose the right word. So this is not common in a standard American English, for example. This is grammatically incorrect, but it's still used. So you gotta know exactly the words that you're going to use. Also, some thumbnails saying, speak like a native. And many people would want to speak like a native, but you know, I am an English teacher. I have a successful business as an English teacher, and I don't sound like a native. I sound like a Brazilian person speaking English. So I think people should not use titles like this, because I think that it only makes students feel insecure because they will never sound like a native. So it might be bad for the students. And also titles like From Zero to Fluency in 2 months, How I Became Fluent in English in 1 month. Well, of course, you would get lots of clicks, but this is not true. So you got to be responsible. And that's why you need to invest some time doing some research and writing a good script before you share your content. And be careful with the words you use. The 7th step is very important because, okay, many teachers create amazing content, but this content is not found by anyone. There's no views, there's no clicks. What's wrong with my content? Well, maybe it's because you haven't learned how to promote your content yet. So talking about YouTube, think of 3 specific things: title, thumbnail, and description. So these 3 things are extremely important. And I would say sometimes it's even more important than the content, because before you start developing your content, I would recommend you to think of a good title, and then you would create your content based on this title, because that's how your content will be found. So here I brought the first 3 videos that I have here are my videos. They are some of my most popular videos, and we can find some things in common here. So the first one is a list. People love lists. So it's 50 most used words in English. So first thing, it's for the general audience, people who don't know, people who are not fluent yet, basic level. So someone who's looking for the 50 most used words in English is like a basic student who wants to learn at least some English in 15 minutes. So there's a list, there's a number, people love numbers, and the title is good, and the thumbnail, there's my happy face there showing the lettering. The second video, I think it's popular because of its content. So it's English at the airport, airplane, and immigration. So many people search for this title, search for this information, because they're anxious before their trips. So the thumbnail is also nice because I look like a flight attendant, and it says exactly what the video is about. The third video is British versus American English. The thumbnail is also very creative. So I'm representing American English. My friend is representing British English. We're like connected hand in hand. And this is also a very popular title. People want to know the difference between British and American English. And the fourth video is my most recent video. You can see it has only 11,000 views because I uploaded this video 4 days ago. And you see, I mean, 10 years later, I'm still doing the same. I'm using lists, and I'm using great lettering with my face in the thumbnail. So the title is 25 most used English idioms in English. And I put in 12 minutes because I think people would think, wow, I can learn 25 idioms in only 12 minutes. So I will click on this video. I can spend 12 minutes of my life learning something new. So you have to try to find ways to catch your audience's attention. So here I have another exercise for you. I have lots of examples of titles for a video that is teaching the verb to be. Okay, so you want to teach the verb to be. Which titles you think are good and which titles you think are bad? What is the best title for you here? You can use the chat box. 5 tips to learn, best 5 tips. Everybody's saying 5 tips, probably because I mentioned the fact that people like lists. Well, here's the answer. All of these titles are good. So the first one is verb to be. This is exactly what you're teaching. So it's fine. It's a good title. 5 tips to learn a verb to be. Amazing, because people love lists. Everything about the verb to be, the person will say, oh my God, I'll learn everything about the verb to be in what, 12 minutes? Oh, I have to click on this video. Verb to be, common mistakes. People love, students love checking if they make mistakes in English. They are obsessed with their mistakes. So of course, you have this title and you tell your audience that making mistakes is fine and everything, but then you show some common mistakes while you teach. Bad titles are English Class 1, Karina Fragoso, or Teacher Karina Class 1. Why? Because this is not attractive and this is not searchable. Who is going to search for Karina Fragoso? If nobody knows you, why would people type your name? So you have to think what people would type when they want to learn something about the verb to be. And it might be silly. The examples might be silly, but many teachers do exactly this. They do it. They put English Class 1, Professor X, and nobody searches for it, and the title is not attractive at all. So try to write attractive titles. And now talking about Instagram Shorts and TikTok. As I said, people are really into short videos nowadays. And unfortunately, we only have 3 seconds to captivate the audience's attention. 3 seconds. Will, you want to say something?
Yep, just 5-minute warning, Karina, that's all.
Sorry?
Sorry, 5-minute warning.
Okay, thanks. I'm almost there.
Great.
So you have 3 seconds to captivate the audience. So I highly recommend you start your video with a question, for example, do you know how to pronounce this word? And then you show the word. Or would you like to test your English? Or I don't know, how do you say this in English? So this is how you usually start a video, because you have only 3 seconds. And also try to explore different formats if you are comfortable with it. Yeah, I'm very comfortable with nearly everything except dancing. But as you can see, I have lots of examples of formats that I've used. I'm always experimenting things. Some things do well, perform well, some things don't, but I will only know what performs well if I try different things. So just trying different formats. So this is maybe the most important piece of advice. Just start. I have lots of friends who will reach me and talk to me saying, well, Karina, I will start an Instagram page, but first I will buy a new cell phone. I will buy that microphone, and I need to have a makeover in my house, and I need to have a haircut. No, just start, because if you don't start, you will never know first if you like doing it, and you'll never get better. So just start, write your first script and record your first video, or make your first post or a carousel, write your first post, whatever. And you'll probably not like it. And that's okay, because I hated my first video. But remember, the video is still there. 1 million people liked it. And nobody cares if I had the right camera or the right microphone, but it's still there because it was genuine, the content is valuable, and I decided to start. So just start. If you really hate your video, you delete the first one, and then you record the second one, and then you upload this video, because then you will see if you like doing it or not. Another very important thing, don't worry too much about numbers. So I started a presentation talking about millions of followers and everything. Of course, it's nice. Numbers are great, but you don't need to have 1 million followers to be successful. Numbers do not always mean sales. So what's your aim? Is your aim being famous, or is your aim selling courses, getting more private students, or sharing your ebooks, right? So I brought you the example of my sister. This is my sister. She's also an English teacher, and she's actually a little shy. So her content is, as you can see in the right, it's like written content. She doesn't even record videos, but she has 7,000 followers, and she has a link to her private lessons there. So people already know her. They already like her content, and then it's much easier for them to reach her to, ask for private lessons. This is another example. This is one of my videos. I have links to my products, to my courses, to my free ebooks. They're everywhere. And I try to share the best free content I have, because people have to think, oh my God, if the free content is so good, so can you imagine how good her paid content is? So this is the mindset you have to, keep in mind. Tip number 10, don't give up. Don't give up. Many people will start, very, very excited, and then they would give up because, oh my God, I have only 200 followers, I don't have any likes, I don't have any comments. So remember, you have to be consistent and you have to stick to your goal. So if you want to share only one video a week, stick to this schedule, share one video a week. People will know that every Sunday you have a new post. Okay, so this is the most important thing. Interact with your audience, but don't go overboard. So you'll get DM messages. You will have some comments. Of course, interact with them, but you don't need to reply to all of them because you'll get crazy. You'll go crazy, sorry. Ask meaningful questions to engage your audience. So instead of saying, oh, like this video and leave a comment, you ask them a question. So have you ever thought about it before? Tell me about your weekend, because we're going to practice this structure. So ask meaningful questions, because then you will get engagement through meaningful interaction. Write creative captions. So when you share a video, you have to share something creative as well. The written captions, you have to write creative captions. Interact with other accounts. So you can interact with other smaller accounts. You can go live with another teacher. You can do collab videos together. So this is an amazing way to learn, because teachers are not competitors. They are a community. Think of other teachers as part of a community that can grow together, okay? So this will make you feel more confident to go live together and do collabs. Stick to your goals. Remember, numbers don't always mean sales. So sometimes I upload a content, a video, for example, so I don't get that many likes or comments, but that video was important to show my audience something about my courses, for example. So this is very good. And most importantly, have fun. If you don't like the process, if you don't like what you're doing, there's something wrong. So you should try to do it in a different way. So this is my last, you won't imagine, my son is right here. He's looking at me and I'm trying to concentrate, looking at my 4-year-old son and try to pretend that everything's fine. But the world has changed, education has changed, and we have changed. So I think it's time to, I think we should try new things. So it might sound challenging for you, it might sound different, but why not? Why not creating content for a different audience? Why not trying different formats? Why not having fun creating something that you've never done before? So don't forget your mission. Remember, numbers do not mean everything. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Karina. Wow. What an absolute roller coaster. That was so interesting. Although it's the second time I've seen it, it's just still really, really interesting. And fruitful. I think fruitful, is a good word to describe that. Just really full of insights into how you've got to where you've got to, which is really impressive. Can I just say, just so cool that you've done so well with English in Brazil. Just congrats, generally, just on that. So well done. Just brilliant.
Thank you very much.
But it's also really helpful. I think that those are 10 really helpful ideas for all the teachers here to get their teeth into social media if that's what they want to do. You've given them some really helpful ideas there. What does he want? Do you want to talk to your son about something? He can come on if he wants. Do you want to bring him on?
I don't think it's a good idea. Okay, let me show. Mateus, olha aqui, look.
What's his name?
Mateus.
Hello, Mateus. Hello, mate. Hey.
This is real life.
All right. So thank you so much, Karina. I think we're going to move on from that, if that's okay. We've had a couple of questions, but I think we need to. Actually, no, I'm going to ask you one. It's a bit of a quick fire question. What's your favorite platform?
YouTube, definitely, because on YouTube you can share longer videos, and you can and you have AdSense, right? It's good for us because you don't need to be selling all the time. But I have to mention that Instagram is better for sales. To sell my course, Instagram is better because you have the direct links, and and in your stories you can build a stronger connection with your audience, because sometimes when I'm in my pajamas and I'm talking to my audience, and then I just share a link and they feel very close to me. So right. So
whereas YouTube, it's a bit of a further stretch, isn't it? They've got to watch your video, open up description, find the link, go to the link. It's a bit more complex. It's for a journey for them.
Exactly. Yeah. But I still love YouTube. 10 years there, right?
Yeah, me too. I love YouTube. It's becoming a bit of a classic, isn't it? It's just been around for so long now. Anyway, thank you so much, Karina.
Exactly.
You've been amazing. We'll see you later for the last session.
Thank you very much. It was a big pleasure to be here with you guys.
Our pleasure completely. Thanks a lot, Karina. See you soon. Okay, so you've got me, I'm afraid, and I'm going to share something with you now. Open presentation, share slides, share screen. I'm going to assume you can see that. I'll ask in the chat. Can you see that? I'm sure you can. And I hope you're excited, even just by seeing that slide. I hope you're excited. So we are opening something up today. So what you've come to now is the academic program. The Advancing Learning academic program is brought to you by Macmillan Education, in case you didn't already know. So what we do is we put together webinars, and we've got a blog, a podcast, we've got the cafe sessions, we've got resources. It's basically a teacher development package. I think most of you already know this. We've got loads of different sort of formats that we offer, teacher development opportunities for you teachers. And we work with lots of people on that program. We've got lots of people that we regularly go back to, who we love and who deliver really good training. But the thing is, at the moment, I think we'd like to just sort of make sure that everyone who could potentially speak on the program does. So we're going to open the doors a little bit to allow people to, if you want to speak for us or with us, we'd like to open the door for you to make yourself known to us. We can't sort of see everybody. It's really difficult for us to be able to see anybody that we could work with. So we're going to sort of just put this out there and see if anyone wants to just say, I think I can talk about that. I think it'd be really cool. I'd really enjoy to speak about that. Or I'm really passionate about this subject. Can you keep me in mind if you're going to do a webinar on this? Go to that QR code. There's also a link in the chat. I think there's also a resources link. And if you're on Facebook or LinkedIn, there'll be a link in the chat box. Click on that. It's just a pretty simple form for you to fill in and to put your hand up and go, I'd love to speak with Macmillan. I'd love to work with you. We can't promise we're going to get back to everyone. But we just want to open the door and just let people sort of put themselves forward to us if you want to work with us. We would like to work with you. So put your name down if you fancy doing some work with us in the future. This is about teacher development. So maybe writing a blog article or taking part in a webinar with us, that sort of thing. Anyway, I hope you like that. Anyway, Wook, are you there? It's time for the next session. Oh no, wait, I almost forgot again. We've got a survey. As I promised earlier, we've got a survey. So we're just asking, just generally thought it might be quite interesting to just cut up the event a little bit with some questions to ask. Oh, you're already getting started. I think if you're on Facebook and LinkedIn, you can't see this. So if you're on Facebook and LinkedIn, I'm just going to read this question out, and then I'll sort of try and summarize the results if we get them. So the first question, the first poll today, the question is, which social media platforms do you currently use for professional purposes? So when I say professional purposes, it could mean to network, it could be to teach, it could be to learn, it could be to share your thoughts, it could be to meet new people, it could be to find a job. It could be to find work. If you're a freelancer, it could be to put your work out there. What platforms do you currently use for professional purposes? So we've got one massive outlier at the moment. One platform in particular is standing out. I think people can't see it yet, which is good. Daria, don't share it just yet. I'd like to ask, actually, so once you have answered the poll, answers are still coming. Once you've answered the poll, what do you think is the most popular one? In the chat box, which one do you think has come out on top? It's actually a big winner. One platform in particular is the most popular. And people on Facebook and LinkedIn, what do you think? What is the platform that's come out massively on top here? It's YouTube. Let's share the results. Yes. Oh, sorry, Daria, I think we're both pressing it. Yes, okay, so I hope people on Facebook and LinkedIn can see this. But so the massive winner there is 65% of you use YouTube as your social media platform of choice. Then we've got Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, kind of almost a joint second. Facebook is a bit more, but generally YouTube. And we actually did that this morning, and it was a pretty similar answer actually. YouTube is definitely being used more by teachers. Anyway, really interesting. Thought we would do that. Anyway, over to you. Over to work. Hello.
Hello, Will. Hello, everyone.
How you
doing?
doing?
You can hear me well, right? Yeah.
I'm all good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm still awake, right?
Still
10 p.m. here. 10 p.m. here, but
I think we need to
I'm still awake.
Good. I think we need to give you a bit of a massive round of applause. Before he's even started, everybody, Wook is based in Vietnam. You might know, you might not, but Vietnam, the first session today was 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Now it's about 9 o'clock in the evening, is it?
10 p.m. Yeah, nearly 10 p.m. Yeah.
10 p.m. in the evening, but you might all realize that there's also a later session on tonight, which is at 10:30 UK time. So yeah, I'm very grateful to you.
Okay, yeah, my pleasure.
After having already done 2, what a weird day. It's a bit like jet lag. It's going to feel a bit like jet lag. Cool. Okay, so I think you can still see my screen. This is what we want to say about work. So grateful that you could come on today and speak to us about this work. You were so quick off the mark last year when AI became on the mainstream, where you released your book, The Art and Science of ChatGPT in Education. It was just so timely. And it's just so great that we could get you to come speak with us today, because I think you are in a really good position to have really taken an active role in ChatGPT in education a year ago, and it being a year on, and you're here now to speak to us about what's happened in the meantime and how teachers can perhaps befriend AI rather than sort of look the other way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So, and I mean, it sounds sort of a quick thing to say, but Work is a doctor, just like Karina and Greg. We've got 3 doctors with us today. You are also the founder of ProEd Education Solutions as well, which is a professional development agency, provider. And I hope you have a wonderful session, everybody, and I'll see you on the other side. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Will, for your introduction, and hello everyone again. It's here in Vietnam in the evening, and so I should say hello, right? Because you're all around the world, so we maybe morning, afternoon, or evening. Okay, let me share the screen. Okay. Can you put in a chat box if you see my screen and if you can hear me well? Yes, please. If you can hear me well, say yes. All right. All right. Thank you. I saw a lot of yes here in the chat box. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So I'll talk today about the relationship between teachers and AI, right? From frenemies to best friends forever. It is like a celebration of 1 year anniversary of AI being a real thing in education. Maybe some of you may ask why we have like 1 year anniversary. It's not like 6 months or 2 years or 3 years, but 1 year. Any ideas why we have 1 year anniversary today about AI in education? Put it in the chat box, guys. Why we have 1 year anniversary today? Yeah, a year of ChatGPT, right? Yeah, we'll mention earlier, yeah, in the instruction. We know that I think last November, right? Last November, OpenAI shockingly released a platform or a tools called ChatGPT. It is like a person who can talk to you, who can understand you, who can tell you something in a way that a human being can do. It's very amazing. It was very amazing at that time, right? And I remember that at that time I was nothing about AI actually. I'm not an AI expert. I know how to use AI or how to apply AI in teaching and education, but I'm not an AI expert. So at that time, I was not knowing a lot about AI. However, after 1 year, let's see what happened, right, with AI in our occupation in education. All right. Give me a second. All right. So there are two parts in my presentation today. The first thing, we talk about the AI's current status in education after 1 year. What happened? And the second part will be how we can make AI become our best friend forever, right? So BFF, the best friend forever. This will suggest to me, but this terms, best friend forever. But before we start to the main parts, I'd like to know from your side, two questions, very simple questions about your use of AIs over the past year. So my first question, did you use AI in your teaching over the past year? Just say yes or no in the chat box, everyone. So I see no and yes, like 50-50, right? In the morning session, that is like about 60% yes, 40% no. But over here, I see maybe 50-50, right? Lots of yes, lots of no. Okay, don't worry. Maybe after this session, the one who say no will have to do something to turn the answers to yes next time, right? Thank you, guys. Question number 2. What is one benefit of using AI in your teaching? So for the people who say yes, write down one benefit in the chat box. The person who say no, the people who say no, think of one benefit you think AI can help you, right? You can read that on the newspaper, or you can heard it from your colleagues, something like that. So over here we have creativity, accuracy, time saving. I see a lot of answers about time, right? Time saving, save time, creativity, fun, time saving, good ideas. I think, yeah, give you good ideas, right, for preparation, things like that. Great ideas, convenience, saving. You're right, everyone. Time saving, always say like AI tools help us to reduce our workload is one of the main benefits of using AI in our job, right? It is one thing that I mentioned in my book previously published. So I may not read everyone's because, you know, there's a storm here in the chat box, a thunderstorm. I cannot see all, but seems that many of you have ideas about how AI tools can help you in your teaching. So it's good. We know that AI is there, and a lot of us, not all, but a lot of us have adapted AI into our teaching, our jobs. And the others, where you are here today, hopefully after this session, you will be able to know how to start utilizing AI into your daily job, right? Okay, let's go to the first part, AI status in education after 1 year, right? But before we go to after what happened after 1 year, let's have a look at the history of AI in education. I'm not going to tell you the whole history of AI in education. I do not have own information about that. Actually, I don't know much about the history. I know that in the past, in 1960, there was something called ELISA, which was something similar to ChatGPT. So that is the first time they coined the word artificial intelligence, right, in 1960s. So, I mean, about 70 years ago, right? However, let's talk about a closer history of AI in education, right? I note down here on the timeline, you see 2 big milestones. What do you think these milestones are? Okay, can you put it in the chat box? 2 big milestones. What are they, do you think? Yeah, I see the first answer, internet, right? 2021, the year 2021. What happened then? Internet, COVID. I see COVID here. I see social media and AI, progression, internet. Yeah. ChatGPT, board. So a lot of answers. I can put down 2 milestones here. So those are COVID-19 and ChatGPT, right? I say big milestone because these events have changed, right, a lot in education. I mean, changed our jobs, our mindset, and our practices in education changed a lot. And AI is also the same. Let's have a look at this. Before COVID-19, usually before COVID-19, we have traditional teaching and learning, right? We have traditional classroom. We see our students face-to-face. We use textbook. And also the student, they learned, they go to school and learn, right? So those are something happened before COVID. And then COVID happened, it broke out, and it forced us to change our teaching and learning. So now you have to do it online. Oh, sorry. At that time, you would do it online, right? You were forced to do it online. You couldn't see your students. You were here, but your students were somewhere around. You could not see them. And you have to use platforms and tools to engage them, to manage your students and your teaching too. So that was during COVID. And then you see that during COVID, we have a lot of tech tools like, I may say like Bamboozle, like Zoom, what we're doing, having now. And some of them are AI integrated, right? Then during COVID, and then last November, with the shocking release of ChatGPT. So everyone know ChatGPT, everyone try to understand ChatGPT. And also you see that in education, a lot of, we say that there is a bloom of AI-based application and tools. So now everything can be AI, right? I am in some Facebook group for teachers about AI and ChatGPT, and you see that every day I see questions about like how can we do something with AI? For example, how can we summarize a YouTube video with AI? Is there any AI tools to to turn a PDF to a video, something like that? So people now think that AI can do every single thing, everything with AI, and somehow it's true, right? Somehow it's true. So AI now is everywhere, right? So this is a little bit about AI, a history of AI, right? A current history of AI in education. Now, let's go to the status now. Okay, we'll look at the status of AI, the current status of AI in different perspectives, from student perspective, from teachers, from policymakers, governments, and organizations. See what happened after 1 year for AI. Okay, now have a look at this. I want to show you some numbers, some perspective. For students, 67% of UK students use AI tools, right? Almost half of Cambridge students have used ChatGPT to complete their work. And a new survey for students are replacing human tutors with ChatGPT. Right? So these are the surveys, the research, which was very close to us. You can look at the time when I do the screenshot. You can look at the time and date, right? June or August, very close to now. So that about students. How about teachers? More teachers plan to use AI in classroom. I remember the first time ChatGPT appeared, many people refrained from using it and tried not to use it or banned students from using it. And I remember New York was the first city to ban ChatGPT in school. Yeah, about a long time ago. I mean, long time ago means a few months after ChatGPT was released. Then over here, we see that Utah teachers using AI in classroom said that it saved time. Okay, and educators says that they're working with AI, not against AI. So here are some perspectives of teachers about AI or using AI in their job. Look at the countries. Yeah, I'm going to show you some countries. They start using AI, or sorry, over here. Like for Japanese school kids, they learn English from AI robots. Okay, or ChatGPT here to replace teachers. India gets its first AI school already. UAE to launch AI-powered digital teachers to support students. Seems that we're going to lose our jobs soon, everyone. And Hong Kong rolls out first AI curriculum for students, including like lesson on ChatGPT or how to live with AI, right? You see that, yeah, how sad, right? Actually, I saw a cartoon a few weeks ago say that in the cartoon they said in how many years some occupations will be replaced by AI. And don't worry, for teaching, it will take 17 years. So at least we have 17 years to teach, right? Okay. Back here, we see that governments, countries, they are very serious about having AI in education, right? Or in the curriculum. Will it be able to replace teachers? I'll tell you right now, not only teachers or any other jobs too. AI will not replace us, but it will replace people who cannot utilize AI in their job. Okay, we'll go back to that point a little bit later. Over here, so we have students' perspective, teachers' perspective, government's right perspective. Now, how about this? Oh, there's something that we need to pay attention because of the the fast development of AI advancement. Many teachers said that they do not have enough, or they do not have not yet received guidance from their leaders on how to use AI. Like here in the research, they say 53% of teachers have not yet received guidance. Or over here, we can see that formal policy is still elusive, right? So nobody know how to use AI correctly. And the need for teacher training on using ChatGPT and AI. So we can see that AI is developing very fast. But over here, we see that PD or guidance or policies have not yet developed the same speed. Some organization like Russo Group, that is a group of highly ranked university in the UK, they released new principles on use of AI in education, right, in July this year. And also UNESCO forced governments to quickly regulate generative AI in schools, or even the father of ChatGPT, OpenAI, the mother company, right? They already released a guide for teachers to use ChatGPT in the classroom. So they are very serious about using AI in education. And for the last year, I think here are some example of the books about using AI and ChatGPT in education. I think this last year, oh sorry, not last year, this year, we're still in 2023. So this year witnesses a lot of books, right? Including my book over there, ChatGPT in education. I released this book in April, about 5 months after ChatGPT was released. Somebody asked me why I did it so fast, right? So first, because I really interested in ChatGPT in education. I mentioned earlier that I was not, or even now, I am not a AI expert, but I'm very interested in using technology in teaching and learning. That's why I did dig in ChatGPT, and after a few months I released this book. And if you ask me if I use ChatGPT to write this book, the answer is yes. Why not, right? It is a great tool, so just use it. Of course you have to use it in an ethical way, right? So here's some current state of AI in education. So I would like you to look back and say about one takeaway from your side, what you think about this, what is happening now, right, in AI. For example, we can say that the governments, they are very serious with AI in education. So that's the one key takeaway. Is there any other takeaway? So how should we use ChatGPT in real classes? Okay, technique, right? So it's teaching techniques. I also mentioned how some tips and strategies for teachers to use ChatGPT in the classroom and also in their everyday job, everyday preparation and planning for a lesson in my book. Okay, you have any takeaway, any key takeaways after we explore the current status of AI in education? Put it in the chat box, please. Any key takeaway? Time saving, that is a benefit, right? Okay. Anything else? It's here to stay, right? Mark, really like your phrase, AI is here to stay, right? Well, AI might be useful, just need to learn how to use it well, correct, right? But we need a lot of guidance and professional development on AI, right? Learning critical thinking. We are safe for the next 17 years. That's right, we're safe. But you have to learn how to use AI soon. All right, here are some key takeaways that we can take from the current status of AI. First of all, AI in education is on the rise, right? Nobody can deny the benefits of AI in education. Governments and organizations prioritize AI in education. Teachers need more AI training or guidance. I mean, training guidance on AI, or even the training guidance done by AI. Yeah, they still need that. Teachers must embrace the AI in education. It is to stay. Yeah, Mark's sentence is here to stay. So AI is not a passing trend. It's not like go easy come easy go, right? It's here to stay, and we have to learn. I have to learn how to live with it. Let's take our talk to the second part, making AI our best friends forever. How do we embrace AI as teachers? Right. I'm going to talk about 3 points, or focus on these 3 points. How we can make AI our best friend. First of all, we should adopt the right mindset, the right attitudes towards AI. Then we need to use AI into our teaching. And also at the end, we assess the impact of AI in our teaching. So you can see that this is like a flow from the beginning to the end, right? Having a good attitude to AI first, and then start using that. And then at the end, we assess the impact of AI. How can we do these things? Okay. First of all, how do we adopt the right mindset towards AI? The first thing is think of AI as an aid, as an helper, not a threat. Yeah, I mentioned earlier that we have still 17 years to teach, right? However, we can make that time longer, right? And actually, AI is not meant to replace teachers. AI is a tool, right? It is created by humans, and it won't replace humans. But of course, we have to learn how to use it so that they can support and enhance our experience, our learning and teaching experience. And we should adopt a growth mindset. So we should stay informed and learn about the latest AI. We cannot ignore AI advancements, everyone, right? You cannot ignore that. As I said earlier, if you ignore that, you will be replaced soon, much sooner than the time of 17 years, right? So we should stay informed and learn about it and how we can use it in the classroom. How to do it, right? Here, embrace it as an aid, adopt a growth mindset, how we do it. Here are some tips. Start small, seek professional development, collaboration, and support. Embrace a learner's mindset and reflect, right? Here are some tips, and I can break it down to some smaller advice on this. Starting small, begin with one or two simple, easy to use tools or apps that align with your teaching goals and styles. Here, for example, begin with something very popular, very easy to use, like ChatGPT, right? Just install that, the app, not the app, right, on the web base. Then start using that. Very simple, very easy to use. Of course, you have to learn regularly, but it's very simple. Or Diffit is an AI tool to have you turn your reading text or lesson plan to easier or more difficult level of readings. Firefly, that is an AI app to turn your text, your description into photos, right? So here are the apps, which is very simple, very easy to use, right? I have a small apps over here, small icons over here that is like an alternatives, but you can use the big ones here. When you start small, you will gradually build your confidence and familiarity with AI and technology, right? No one can start big in this situation. Then find professional development, collaboration, and support by engaging in PD opportunities that focus on AI or technology, right? Like workshop, webinars, conferences like this, what we are doing now. Or connect with a network educators, share ideas, learn, and help one another. It was kind of difficult to do this in the past, right? But now it is more easy. You say that after the COVID, everyone can be connected. Here are some resources for you. You can go to websites or blogs to learn. There are a lot of helpful PD resources. Here I'm just say a few names here, like Macmillan Education blogs, right? Or T-Zone, T-Sort, Edutopia, and AI Edu, and many, many more, right? I also put the QR codes here for you to go to. And also with some social media groups, like on Facebook, we have ChatGPT for teachers. You can go there. There are thousands, I think about 20,000 teachers follow this page, this group, and they ask a lot of questions. And there are also a lot of answers. The AI Classroom or Eduverse, also on Facebook. Eduverse is our company PD platform for you to come and learn and share about not only AI, but many other resources too. On LinkedIn, we have teacher training and education. We have ELT professional. I highly recommend this group, ELT professional, with lots of ideas and resources. And on YouTube, you can have New EdTech Classroom. So this is a beautiful channels for you to learn about tech and AI. Are these free of charge? Okay.
So sorry to interrupt you, Work. I completely cut. I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry. Just wanted to let you know you got a few minutes left. So.
Okay. Yeah. Are these free of charge? They're all free of charge, right? Free and easy to use. Right. Okay. What's next? We should learn as a baby. Approach AI and technology with curiosity and openness to learn. View challenges as opportunities to grow, not failures, right? Don't be afraid. And reflect, of course, after using technologies, we should reflect on the impact of technology or AI on our teaching so that we can make a necessary adjustment. So here's some tips that you can use to adopt a right mindset, right, towards AI. On the screen, you see a self-assessment form, right? This is a form for you to reflect on your use of AI. And you will have this one in your goodie bag of this event. All right, for number 2, now we have a good attitudes already. Now we start using AI into the teaching, right? First of all, use it. Start small, use it. And then you should have your own AI toolbox. So this is very important. And the question I usually got asked, that is, there are too many AI tools out there. Which one should I use? Should I need to know everything about every tool? So of course the answer is no, right? You see that on the disk on your right on the screen, you see that hundreds of tools for different purposes. No one can utilize all these tools, and it's not necessary to do it, right? Just use a few tools that is effective for your teaching. For example, my toolbox, my AI toolbox is ChatGPT, Canva, Donly, Genuinely, Mentimeter, and Firefly. And sometimes I combine these tools to create something good for my class or my work. And the last things, of course, at the end, we have to assess the impact of AI in our teaching. We should go beyond decorative tools. We should not just look at how AI can, engage your student and have your student participate. That's only one side. The other side, the more important side is, does these AI tools help your student improve the learning outcome, like critical thinking, collaboration, or creativity, right? And you should also see how you can balance technology and pedagogy. Sometimes traditional teaching methods might be more suitable and effective than using a lot of technologies or AI, right? So those are something. Oh, sorry. This slide give you some guiding questions on how you can use, on how you can assess your use of AI in your classroom. For example, if AI enhance your student engagement or boost creativity or help students achieve learning goals. Yeah, you can have this one in the goodie bags. All right. So to wrap up, we'll see that there are 3 things we should do to make AI our best friend: adopt a right mindset towards AI, use AI, and assess the impact of AI. All right. And to end my sharing today, here's some final thoughts that I would like you to have a look at. And we stand at the forefront of the AI revolution in education. Remember that AI is not a passing trend, right? And AI isn't here to replace us. Remember that. It's here together with us to prepare our students for a world of limitless possibilities. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
As well, yep.
Wonderful, wonderful words to end with. Thank you. Yes, we're here to prepare them for the world of AI, really, aren't we, as well? We've got to make sure that our students are prepared for the world with AI too, you know, so we've kind of got to be friends with it, you know. We haven't really
That's
got much
right, yeah.
It's like saying that social media is a force for bad, you know. It's there, you can't really do anything about it.
Yeah.
Just
the good thing is with AI now there are many resources, free resources for teachers to learn. So I think that's a good thing, another benefits of AI.
So to recap then, so if you could name 2 or 3 of the top pieces of software, app or web app or website, what would you recommend?
I recommend, first of all, for resources, right? For information, for tools, ChatGPT is the first one, actually.
Yeah.
I use it a lot, right? The second one is Firefly. That is the app that, to make photos.
Okay, so you describe a photo and it will make the photo.
That's right.
Okay,
imagine
loads of uses for that in the classroom, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, and now the best thing is free. It's still free. It's still free for teachers to use. Yeah. Imagine you teach
the Adobe Suite.
You teach a story with a scenes difficult to find on a picture on the internet, right? Just put in Firefly, they can create a photo for you, something like that.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And we couldn't do that a year ago. Isn't that mad?
Yeah, of course not. All right.
Thank you so much, Work. That was an amazing presentation, really helpful,
and
informative, and insightful. Thank you for putting it together for us, and we'll see you for the nighttime shift a bit later, Work. Have a nice rest in the meantime.
Okay, I'll see you again on early morning my time. Okay, bye-bye.
Look forward to it. Thanks, Work. Bye.
Yeah.
Can I take the screen back, please, so I can share?
Okay, screen is yours now.
Got it, mate. Thanks, Work. See you soon.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Okay. Hello, everybody. So I'm here to do the bridge again. Doing a little bridge. Hello, everyone on Facebook and LinkedIn. I hope you're okay, enjoying it. We've got one more session to go, and I've got something else I'd like to tell you about. This, if you're attending this on Zoom, this is going to come in your email. You're going to get this a link, but you can look at it now. It's completely available for you now. So take a look at this, scan the QR code, and you can access that right now. That's your guide to teacher development. So it's got all sorts of videos, blogs, and it's sort of organized in a way that hopefully it makes it a bit easy for you to prioritize your time that you're spending on your development. So do go and take a look at that. And now I'd like to introduce Grzegorz Spierwak, our very own Grzegorz Spierwak. He is there. I was just talking to him backstage. There he is. Hello.
That's me. Hello.
Hello. Hello, old friend. How are you?
I'm all right. Impressed with my distinguished predecessors as I was in the morning. It's going to be a very hard act to follow.
Easy for you, Greg. You're right.
Well, you know,
you're on the right bill here.
Let's wait and see.
You're on the right bill in my book, Greg. I mean, yeah, this is what an event, huh? This is going so well. These are such, I mean, just really, I think, really needed sessions as well. The social media influencing as an ELT teacher. I've never seen that before, and it was so helpful for me to see it from the perspective of someone who's done it, and how teachers can actually use that as a part of their repertoire. And also work session on AI. It's just really necessary to see something, not at the beginning when there's a bit of shock and fear and tenseness and unknowns, but now sort of a year on where we can calm down a bit and start looking at it a little bit more comfortably and calmly. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I hope that after mine, it's going to become really nicely transparent that those generative technologies that Lei talked about, when coupled with the sorts of features of a successful influencer that Karina talked about, will become evidence I think I've kind of, messed up that sentence, but anyway,
I think I'm following you.
will become evidence that that true learning requires this human aspect, perhaps, and more than we had assumed before. But I might come back to this in our follow-up after the session.
Okay, all right. Well, maybe there's a follow-up event or article waiting there, Greg, on that. I think I see what you're getting at. So you're saying that with the requirements, so with what AI is giving us is sort of help to do our jobs as people.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think. But
ultimately, it's the power of connectivity. The power of creating rapport that makes all the difference. And this is what, other people, being consumers, being customers, if you are an influencer, or be learners, respond to, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
AI can't do that. AI can't make a learner feel confident after having failed something, for example. Anyway, let's talk about you, shall we, for a second, Greg? Shall we?
Not sure.
Chat about you for a little minute. So you are Dr. Grzegorz Spierback. I'm going to get better at pronouncing your name. I do try. Dr. Grzegorz, you are a teacher trainer, an author, a former academic lecturer, an academic. As we said earlier, you are an academic. You're a member of ITEFL Poland Board of Advisors, and you are the head ELT consultant from Macmillan Polska and Central and Eastern Europe as well. So also a shout out to anybody here who's in Central and Eastern Europe working with Greg. If you're here, hi everybody. Welcome. Thanks for lending us
lots of friends.
Thanks for lending
not
us
Honduras yet.
Okay. So Greg's you're an absolute you're a jewel in Macmillan's crown, Greg. It's great to have you back. This is a talk that you gave beautifully at ITEFL last year, and that's why we had to put it in the program. I was there with you, watching on the front row, and it had tremendous what's the word? Praise, I think is the word. So it just had to appear on this day, talking about Teachers of 2023. So I really hope you enjoy it for the second time, Greg.
Shall we switch screens? Yeah.
Let's do it. So I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay.
Have a great session. See you soon, everybody.
Thank you very much, including the beautiful introduction. I pampered. So I think I'm ready now for the second installment. Let me just get the slides up properly. And the chat, as you know, we are all now experts in Zoom. So we also know that Zoom is the least friendly software for the presenter, isn't it? Everybody else has got terrific fun. And as far as the poor presenter is concerned, we need to juggle all those little windows. Okay, so I'm all set. If you could just confirm that you can hear me and see the slides properly. Thank you very much. All right. Okay, my topic is quite ambitious, isn't it? Promises rather a lot. So in a sense, I should really begin explaining, or perhaps explaining myself. Why should you be listening to me on a topic like this? Well, the quick answer is what I am about to offer this afternoon isn't so much my brain, my humble little brain, but rather a synthesis of a lot of reading and thinking that I have done over the years. It's a very exciting time to be in education. We have just heard this incredible session on developments in artificial intelligence, but along the way, there have been numerous publications, some of which I am showing on the slide at the moment, publications with a common theme running through them. I hope you can see that straight away, and that is that there has obviously been a lot of reflection, a lot of researching, and a lot of talking about what it is that actually makes people learn. I am also very happy to say that as a little cog in a fantastic project called Advancing Learning Program, you know, the program that we are launching, season 6 of which we are launching today. I can say that at Macmillan, we have been concerned with the issue of learning more or less since the very inception of that program. And if you go to our archive of sessions on the Macmillan site, you will find a number of great session recordings that deal with just that, including some from my distinguished Polish colleagues, I am very happy to report. But returning to those books here, I will be referencing them several times as we go along. But the main thing that I would like to establish right from the beginning is that if you look at all of those publications collectively, then I think one thing is pretty obvious, pretty evident, and it comes very strongly from a lot of these publications, which is that the overall perception of what a learner is and what learning consists in has moved rather profoundly since, let's say, the early 1960s, where the kind of common view of the learner was still the one symbolized with the two images on the left of the slide, you know, the image of a sponge or the image of a blank slate. In other words, those images that portrayed the learner as genuinely something very, or someone very passive, a sort of recipient of information imparted by the teacher. But now this view has been shaken up with the research that has taken place in the last few decades. And the upshot of that research is that, as you can see, they are no longer seen, those learners, as sponges or blank slates. And the learning itself is seen as a much different kind of process. Here, as you see, I am being a little naughty because I want to involve you a little bit more in the creation of the material here. So I just wonder what your personal word would be to finish the quote in the slide. So if they are not blank slates and they are not black sponges, then learning requires interest. I can see curiosity, practice, passion, active involvement, okay, engagement. Thank you for all of these very powerful words. You will see how a lot of them will recur in the remainder of this session. And now that I've sort of, generally speaking, justified the first bit of the title, I think it's important to also realize why the second bit is equally as important. And again, to answer that, let me dip into one of those fresh publications. This one is called How Learning Happens by Carl Hendrick and Paul Arthur Kirchner, who I think really sort of pin it down with the words, especially with the words that I have highlighted in red, yellow, and green. So the idea is, and the reason why we should care as professionals, is that this kind of reflection on learning can at least lead to refining and reflecting upon our own teaching practice. And through that, the claim goes, create the best conditions under which students can flourish. So, of course, ultimately, we are doing this for the learner. Speaking of whom, students. Who are they? And what it is that we know about the students of today. Well, again, it's nice to refer to some interesting new research on that. But with the learner, it's sort of interesting that it's been subject to a lot of hype, including the hype in the media. And media are very good at labeling, certain phenomena. So with learners, we've heard of Generation X and Generation Y and then Generation Z. And then it looks like we've run out of letters of the alphabet, haven't we? So what's the most recent generation called? Does anybody know? The kids of the teenagers of today? Yes, they are the alpha, no, zero. That would have been a good one. Yeah, most commentators refer to them as Generation Alpha. As you can see now, I'm dipping into Google to give you a recent quote. And, the thing to realize about Generation Alpha and the factor that makes them so topical, perhaps, is the fact that, as somebody clever noticed, people who were born around the age 2010 were born at the same time as iPad. Kind of amazing, isn't it? And I did a bit of extra research, and I discovered that it was also the year 2010 where Instagram was born. So those are, the peers of the Instagram, and the year where the word app was the word of the year. Well, small wonder then that they attract a lot of attention. But just the fact that they attract a lot of attention should not perhaps the iPad Gen, I love that. Okay, but the fact that they attract so much attention should not perhaps distract us from the fact that they are only, if anything, the last in a sequence of learners who are all still around, aren't they? So I think the interesting thing to notice is that apart from the topical alphas, we have Generation Z and Generation Y and Generation X and baby boomers. And if you teach adults, then you may well find these people in your classrooms still. Now, on the Generation Alpha, if you are interested in researching this particular area because you happen to teach teenagers or younger learners who are going to become teenagers very soon, then one thing that I can certainly recommend is this publication, Generation Alpha by Mark McCrindle. And the reason why I mentioned his name in particular is that, as you can see from the bottom of the slide, there's also a very, very good blog that he is the author of, a blog recommended to me by a Polish colleague, Marta Rosińska, and the blog is really worth looking up. He is one of those who, on the one hand, sees a lot of good things going for these learners, the fact that having experienced so much sort of screen exposure, they certainly have increased the digital literacy. They will respond to various gamification strategies, but he also says they certainly have shorter attention spans. They can be argued to have impaired social formation as a result, mostly spending time in front of various screens, etc. So it's something which is worth looking at. The author of the book is Mark McCrindle, and you can see the cover in the bottom right-hand corner of the slide at the moment. So that's if you like a bird's eye view of the evolution of the learner. Now, the thing that I would like to amplify at this point is that having this evolution and this a sequence of generation after generation, there is this interesting question about whether the fact that they are progressing like this also leads to the fact that they're learning capabilities, learning strategies are changing equally as fast. And to answer that, I would like to refer you to yet another wonderful piece of research. This one is Neil Selwyn, and generally I recommend Neil Selwyn most warmly to anybody who would like to have a more rounded off view of the impact of educational technologies on learning and on education in general. And in a recent article, Neil says the following: while there is evidence of changes in learners' behaviors and preferences in recent years, there may not actually be conclusive evidence that these changes have directly impacted the manner in which current learners learn. And this to me is really significant, because there again, there's a lot of hype that we can read on our social media feeds about how the new developments in technology are changing everything in education. Well, the answer is, well, not necessarily, because as Neil says somewhere else in that article, human beings simply do not change decade after decade. It's not that quick. Okay, so when we are evaluating impacts of the changes in civilization on learning in humans, then we need to take this with a little bit of caution. That I think is something which is worth keeping in mind at the vantage point of 2023. And at this point, since this is on how learning happens, you may be saying, well, how does he know that? Where is the evidence? Well, I do have a lot of evidence to substantiate that claim. And I would like to show you a selection of that evidence now. And I will also have a task for you. The evidence is this. What you can see on the slide is selection of various educational theories, approaches, models, as you can also see, I hope, I have been a little naughty, leaving out dates of publication. So my question to you now is, when you look at these, do they strike you as very new, most of them or all of them, things that would be published, say, in the last decade or two? Or are they slightly older than that? What is your gut feeling, I wonder? Very new, last 10, 20 years or older? Okay, I can see a lot of good intuitions. Very good, yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? The reason why I'm showing you those particular ones is that they are the ones that have stood the test of time. A lot of approaches and theories come and go, but those happen to have been vindicated and verified in parallel research over the years. And the dates of publication, take a look. They go back, some of them 50 years or so. One of the most famous in this collection, the Crick and Lockhart's theory of depth of processing, something that I will come back to in a moment, dates back to 1972. So this is an old approach. Now, why am I showing you this? Because those several decades long approaches are still valid today, because they describe certain properties of human beings which are quite resilient to change. And that, to me, is quite interesting, and again, worth keeping in mind at the outset of a new year or academic year. In fact, only the last two of these studies are within this century or within this millennium, if you like. Everything else is older than that. And again, if you're thinking, well, all right, well, it's kind of interesting maybe, but why should I bother? What does this buy me specifically as a teacher of today from the vantage point of 2023? Well, the answer is it actually buys you potentially quite a lot. And to prove that to you, I have a little quiz that I would like to treat you to. The quiz is about 5 statements, 5 rather strong statements and I will show them to you one by one, and would like you to tell me simply whether you feel that they are true or false, one by one. Okay, here is the first one. Okay, true or false? Okay, there seems to be a strong vote for false, with some sprinkling of true, however. Okay, as expected. Thank you very much. Okay. All right, now let's try another one. How about this one? They are great at searching information in various digital sources. True or false? And again, there is a mixture. Okay. Notice that, you know, those statements are all a little naughty, aren't they? Because they have certain loaded words, like, for instance, multitasking effectively. Can they multitask, and is it effective? Would it be more effective if they sort of sequenced the tasks? Great at searching information, but, you know, information or knowledge? And by great, do we mean fast, or do we mean capable of actually finding the information that they need, etc.? All right, you can probably guess what I'm driving towards, but I'll give you 3 more. How about this one? They intuitively choose the study strategies that work best for them. In other words, they know how to learn effectively. Again, a mixture with a lot of false, okay, but some true as well. Okay, that, you know, you're sort of behaving the way I was hoping you would, so thank you very much. Okay, number four, the more they are motivated, the better they learn. The more they are motivated, the better they learn. And here, again, as expected, I'm getting a lot of true. Not all of them, but okay. If you are with me, then you're probably wondering about the word better. What is meant by better? And last but not least, this one, the learning results are directly linked to how much they like the teacher. How does this one sound to you? Sounds almost like you want to scream, yes, 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 of course. Okay, now, are you ready for me to disclose the results of those studies in how learning happens? Okay, that's what I want to do next. All right, so what I'm about to show you is not my personal view. It's the kind of concerted consensus view coming from all of those studies that I referred to you before. And the collective answer is no, they are all false. People can't actually multitask effectively. They can jump from task to task, but it takes a lot of time. It would be much better if they completed one thing and move on to the next one. They are actually very poor at finding quality information. Contemporary learners, generally, they choose the strategies which either they were sort of, you know, taught, or they kind of inherited them from other learners, or they just fall for whatever their intuition tells them, but they have no conscious knowledge of what it is that makes them learn. The one on motivation, which is probably the most surprising, comes from the book that's the second in the collection, called The Motivation Myth. And, you know, that's the reason why it's called The Motivation Myth. And Jeff Hayden in that book argues that, in fact, it's not that motivation leads to learning, but learning and small success felt by the learner when learning is what leads to increased motivation. So it's actually the causal relationship is reversed. It's the other way around. And finally, the liking of the teacher. It sounds like something that it should obviously be true, but there is something else that I will tell you about at the very end. Okay, so hold your horses for the last one. Now, I saw a lot of people say, "Oh, that's surprising. Oh, not intuitive." But in a sense, I'm happy that you are reacting like that, because I mean, if I were to say to you something which is obviously self-evident and you're not learning anything new, then you'd be wasting your time. Okay, so sort of bear with me for the next 10 minutes maybe, because I am about to also switch from being negative and saying, you know, what does not work, into reporting on something which, again, there is a wide consensus about and which is positive. The positive factor, which all those studies confirm and reconfirm, is that it is the depth of learning which leads to improved outcome. Depth, as defined back in the 70s by Craig and Lockhart, and if you need a sort of modern rendition, then there you go, from this wonderful book called Teaching for Deeper Learning. As you can see, it's in the title as well. The authors say that it occurs when students are actively engaged in making meaning of the content that they are learning. And I think both of these are equally as important. On the one hand, the activation, the engagement. This is something that a lot of you already alluded to earlier on when I asked you about it. But the second is perhaps less talked about, and it's crucial in a sense, making meaning together. In a sense, that's what we've been trying to do by interacting on the chat throughout this session. Okay, now, and if you are thinking, okay, but what does this mean in more operational terms? Well, the answer is, that's the second part of the quote, students need to analyze, to synthesize, and to evaluate information that comes their way. And this includes linguistic information. So if you are, as I am guessing most of you, if you are a foreign language teacher, then this should be related to the sort of activities that we do with those learners in our classrooms. And this brings me to selecting one of those 5 false statements and concentrating upon it a little more, because I think this is the one which can give us the most benefit very immediately, okay? And the one that I have in mind is this one, those study strategies. The reason is, I mean, I am a successful learner, but I wasn't a good learner, in a sense that I never was taught how to study effectively. I did it all by intuition, trial and error. And we have learned a lot since I did my, little bit of studying on my own. And we now know that there are ways that promote deeper learning on a systematic basis. Now, again, let me involve you a little bit. I have got 8 on the slide now, okay? And what if I tell you that 4 of these are super important for promoting deeper learning, okay? And 4 others are not. So which are which? Which are effective? The ones on the right or the ones on the left? Okay, absolutely. But you see, why am I showing you this? I'm showing you this list because if you ask a typical learner, or if you kind of look over the shoulder of a typical learner, you will find that a lot of them fall for the ones on the left. Highlighting, for instance. How many highlighted textbooks have you seen in your life, or underlined? You underline, you highlight, you copy verbatim, and you feel that you've done your work. Well, alas, you haven't. This book that you have got on the slide on the right-hand side now, Benedict Carey, How We Learn, he says that, in fact, the ones on the left promote what he calls the illusion of mastery, okay? you're under the illusion that you already remember because you've highlighted information. But what you actually remember, say when a test day comes, is you remember that you highlighted, but you don't remember the actual information that you highlighted. In order to actually internalize the information, you need to process the information a lot deeper through paraphrasing, through categorizing, through summarizing, and through linking as much as possible actively to prior knowledge, you see? So if you're thinking, okay, but can we have any specific examples of that in the context of foreign language teaching? Well, that's what I would like to finish with the remainder of this session. So those four: paraphrase, categorize, summarize, and link to prior knowledge. Let me give you one or two examples of this. Okay, here is perhaps the most canonical of all. You get the learner to try and remember a bunch of vocabulary items, like parts of the body. What will a standard learner do? Well, a standard learner will copy those words from the board or whiteboard or whatever. And if they are doing anything at all in their notebooks, they will probably produce another vertical list, same color, and they will provide a translation into L1. Am I making sense to you? I'm sure I am. That's precisely what I was as a learner. Is there an alternative? Well, of course there is, because otherwise I would not be wasting my breath and your time. And the alternative is something like this, for instance. Now, take a good look at this. It's a published example, happens to be a Macmillan book, but I'm not plugging anything in particular other than a phenomenal, a potentially very powerful study technique. A technique that involves paraphrasing information in the sense of, if you really understand the word leg, then it means something to you. So how about presenting it as a leg, an image of a leg built out of words? Same for back, same for arm, same for head, and every other word. Now, you might say, well, it's just a pretty picture. No, it isn't, because in order to produce this picture, the learner needs to take a lot of decisions. For instance, take the word leg. Okay, if you've chosen to represent a leg like this, you have no place for the word knee, right? Because the whole space has been taken by leg. Another example, the word back. There is no obvious reason why it has to begin with the letter B at the bottom of the spine. It could as well be B at the top going down, okay? So as you can see, all of these are paraphrasing decisions on the part of the learner. Now, you might say at this point, well, but this is a published image and a lot of the learners will not be as creative. Are you thinking that? Are you worried about that sort of thing? Well, let me show you one example that I lifted of a notebook of a learner who was exposed to a technique like this, okay, and then produced his own version. It was a boy. Are you ready? Fasten your seatbelts if you aren't. This is the version. Look at this. It's amazing, isn't it? And the reason why it's so amazing is that it's a completely different take. In fact, this particular creator chose to use certain words twice. Okay, that was his paraphrase. Okay. I can see that you like it, and I mean, rightly so. But I have to warn you here, okay? Since this technique has been tried a lot, and I've been showing it for years to my colleagues, one warning is the following: in order for this technique to really become a technique, it cannot be a one-off. Okay, so if you just do one lesson and then you forget about it, you might as well forget about it. Okay, in order for this to become a technique, you would need to show the learner, remind the learner, okay, that this is an option, an alternative to classic notes, okay, with, say, every unit of vocabulary that you cover. So say you finish a unit on food items, and then you ask them, all right, how about now, in way of revision, designing a page full of food items in which words are, the images are built out of words. Am I making sense to you? And maybe a month later, you've been covering means of transport. So you design a map of the city with means of transport, again, built out of letters. you cover housing, then build a house out of letters. Okay, that's the point. And of course, instead of decorating your classroom walls with, maps of the United Kingdom and the USA, which a lot of teachers do, how about displaying great examples of students' work? Okay, because it is through that sort of thing is that you're actually teaching that skill of paraphrasing, because as I said before, this is not something that they are born with. They need to be taught that, and this is where we as great teachers of 2023 can come in. Am I making sense? Okay, so remember, if you like it and you take a photo of this, remember, not a one-off. Another example, an example of a different technique. And again, let me check if you've been listening. I listed 4, yeah? Paraphrasing, categorizing, linking, and what's the 4th? Summarizing. Thank you. Yeah, you have been listening. Excellent. Okay, so let me give you an example of a creative summarizing of information. Look at this. This one is called word formation haircut. I've borrowed this from a great Polish colleague of mine called Gosia Kobierzycka from Łódź. And I absolutely love this, because I know, Will, 2 minutes, okay, because this, with just one powerful image, tells such a great story. How can some of these hairs get clipped? Well, take a look. Some of them are shorter than others. Why? Because, of course, it is through clipping that the learner demonstrates that they've remembered where the stem of a word finishes and the suffix begins, right? As in, for instance, discussion or improvement. Okay, and why is it summarizing? Because of course, this kind of haircut is not something that we should produce for the learner. It is something which one learner should produce for another learner. Are you with me? Based on training that you give them. Okay, so you show them what the technique is, and then you get the learner to go over, in this particular case, words with suffixes, okay, and select on those slips of paper the words which they wish to select for the other learners to perform the activity with, and then they quiz each other. And if you like it, word formation is just one example of this kind of activity. It would work for phrasal verbs, it would work for prepositional verbs, it would actually work for collocations as well. Okay, so yes, this one happens to be for suffixes, but it could be just about any other combination of elements which you would like to be represented visually. But again, remember, the key thing is the learner that shows you how they've summarized a collection of items in a visual form. Okay, and since Will is knocking on my door and saying that I need to finish, I will say goodbye with one more technique. Okay, a technique for what? A technique for categorizing. And very briefly, this technique has to do with the learner having to revise a collection of items. Let's say, for the sake of argument, irregular verbs, but it could be anything really. Okay, it could be any vocabulary page from your course book. And the trick here, as you can see, is the following. You get the learner in pairs initially to look at the list and decide which 7 they do not want on your test next week. Okay? Now you might say, well, that's kind of silly. Why would they be allowed to get rid of precious vocabulary? But you see, in order to perform this operation, they need to create a category. A category of what? A category of very difficult irregular verbs, you see? Because, of course, those are the ones that they are going not to want on a test. Make sense? It's a trick with the brain, okay? And once they are happy in their pairs with that category, you are playing it naughty, and you get them into groups of 4, all right? And you tell them, now you need to renegotiate. So create another category that will be agreeable for the 4 of you. And if you are super naughty, super naughty, get them into groups of 8 then, and renegotiate the 3rd time round. And I tell you what, if you do it like this, you may as well not give them that test the following week, because they will have learned all the crucial vocabulary by then, okay? Simply by performing those meaningful, deep rounds of revision, okay? Now, I could go on, but, my time is officially up. So I just want to finish by saying that all of this points to a certain vision of learning, okay? A vision which is corroborated with this particular book and a number of others. Hattie, Pinker, other people have written about it. So you're thinking, okay, so from the vantage point of 2023, if you are to accelerate and promote genuine student development, what do you do? Well, the answer is you promote deeper learning, okay? And you promote deeper learning if you raise your expectations sky high for the students, but, and this is crucial, at the same time, believing that everyone can improve and develop their abilities. So you communicate to them, I have high expectations of you, but I am firmly on your side, and I believe that you will be able to meet those expectations, okay? And this is the very final message that I have, and that is, why did I say that it's not about the teacher being liked? Because it's not so much about superficial liking of a teacher, but about building trust with the teacher. And the trust is built through this realization in the learner that the teacher is firmly on the learner's side. And therefore, the whole point of being in the classroom is to be supported in one's learning. And this is all I had time for in the 30 odd minutes that I had. So thank you very much for bearing with me. If you would like to stay in touch, here is my email, but also I am on Facebook and on LinkedIn. So if you would like to friend me there, I'll be very happy to continue this conversation afterwards. Other than that, thank you very much once again, and over to Will.
Thank you so much, Craig. Amazing. Absolutely brilliant. Jesus, you're an absolute, what do I call you? You're just a machine. It's just so interesting. No, you are. You've got so much going on in your mind. And it's just it feels like an experience to kind of watch you at work. And it's just feel really privileged that you work for this team, and that we've kind of got you full time. We're just so lucky to have such a mind, There are so many.
Well, I don't know about that, but I do read a lot. And I think that as I said at the beginning, it really is an exciting period to be in education. And those developments in AI certainly open up all sorts of ways. But at the same time, a critical look at what we can do as educators with those tools and without, because it's not all and everything, about the tools, is something which really makes it worth being around for another decade or so. Yeah,
absolutely. Couldn't agree more, Greg. Really exciting stuff. I was getting messages on LinkedIn with people saying this guy is just amazing. There's a couple of people in the world that haven't heard of you, Greg. Just people just saying this guy is just a genius. Just really
well, I mean, it really makes me humble, because I mean, all I have done is I've put together, as I said, the research, the results of other wonderful researchers, and some ideas from great teachers. I mean, one other thing which I think, going back to Karina's point about being able to connect as being, the top skill for an influencer. I think it's also about being able to connect with other teachers, and being able to connect ideas, and that's what makes us so powerful as a profession. So an event like this is special, because I mean, I can, I'm schizophrenic here, trying to kind of, keep my thread, so to speak, and at the same time looking at all the wonderful comments being provided, because this is the co-construction of meaning. And it doesn't matter in a sense what it is that I want to say. It matters what it is that people are taking away and how they are processing this information immediately. And that's truly exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And it will inform how many people are doing their jobs, Greg. So thanks a lot. Thanks so much for putting that
My
together.
pleasure and honor. Thanks,
Cheers,
everybody.
Greg. Thank you. Okay, so you are almost free to go. You are almost free to go, but I've got something to share with everyone. A couple of things to share with you. Firstly, I mentioned it earlier, and I'll mention it again. We've got a string of events starting with this one. So this one is the Advancing Learning Day, the Contemporary ELT Teacher. This is the first of a series of events that we're running over the next couple of months. So this is beginning of October, and now at the end of October, in a few weeks' time from today, we've got our Young Learners Day, so empowering young learners. We've got Anna Parr, Claire Steele, Sarah Smith, and Marcella Chintra, who's going to be they're talking about various different topics, but all focused around teaching young learners. So from sort of very young learners up to just pre-teen, so sort of 11, 12. And then on the 14th of November, we've got Dave, Usoa, and Maria Luisa, and they're going to be talking about teens, and that's a little bit more focused, but I think it's an event that's a bit more focused on the problems that teachers are having with teenagers, which is generally engagement and ensuring that every teenager is learning, is progressing on their own path. But I think that's basically where we're at the moment. That seems to be largely, not only, but largely what the issues are in the teenage classroom, as I'm sure has been the case for hundreds of years. And will continue to be the case, but we're looking at it and we've got a few ideas to share with you. And then on the 1st of December, we've got Bahar, we've got Dorothy, we've got Kate Protsenko, and that's all about teaching adults. So depending on your context, you might want to sign up for the Young Learners Day, the Teenage Day, or the Adults Day. You're very welcome at all three, of course you are. But we thought it might help with you and your CPD time that you have available to focus on a particular area that's most relevant to you in your context. So do sign up now. Registration's open. Go in there, have a look. macmillanenglish.com. There'll be a link in. If you see at the bottom, there'll be a little highlighted box, I think, that you can click on that, and you'll be able to register now. On Facebook, LinkedIn, there'll be a link in the chat box. So just click on that link and you can register. Go right ahead. It's there for you, ELT teachers of 2023. And another quick, I mentioned this earlier, I'm going to mention it again. So we've decided to open our doors to people coming to us if they want to work with us a bit. If you want to do some teacher training, if you want to do maybe run a webinar, if you want to write a blog for us, if you want to help us develop a few worksheets, for example, or if you want to kind of anything to do with teacher training, to do with this academic program. You can see on the screen the Advancing Learning Academic Program. If you want to work with me and the Advancing Learning Academic Program team, you're very, very welcome to. Please put your name in the form that's in that on that link, and put your name down. We can't promise that we're going to invite everyone because we don't do sort of an event every day. But we really just wanted to open the door to allow people to approach us easily without sort of having to find the right email address and that sort of thing. So there you go. There's your form. And I look forward to hearing from you if you want to work with this. We've also got the Guide to Teacher Development. You might have already heard of this. Some people have used this already. We've had it for about 2 or 3 months. This is the 3rd volume. Scan the QR code. The link's down there. The link's in chat boxes and everything around you. And that is basically a one-stop shop for a load of teacher training materials that we've created over the last sort of year or so. So it's got a range of videos, previous webinar recordings sort of organized a bit more tidily for you. Not more tidily, just in a different way. They're sort of organized by theme. We've got some blog articles in there. Got a few Advancing Learning cafes, which I know you love, which sort of dotted around there as well. So it's basically the program, but it's organized in a bit more of a convenient way. And it's all in a flipping book sort of interactive PDF format. So go and take a look. It's there for you. You're going to get an email in the next week with a couple of links, 2 links specifically. So the first one's going to have a link to your certificate. If you're watching on Zoom, if you're on Facebook and LinkedIn, if you want to get certificates, you need to register for the event, which is on macmillanenglish.com. And so the first link is the certificate. The second link on the email is the virtual goodie bag, where you'll get the recordings, you'll get the PowerPoint presentations from the speakers, you'll get a whole load of other bits. As I said, on Facebook and LinkedIn, if you want to get that, the virtual goodie bag, you need to register for the event. You should go to our website, you can still register for the late session and get those emailed to you anyway. So go ahead. And that's it. Big thank you to everyone. I hope you've enjoyed it. Have you enjoyed it? I've been talking at you and not been listening to a single thing. Let me see. Hello. I want to hear on a scale of 1 to 1,000,000. How awesome was that today, those 3 talks? On a scale of 1 to 1,000,000, 7, 99 out of 1,000,000. 1,000,000, good, good. Glad to hear 1,000,000. Thank you. I was only kidding. 10 out of 10, Andrew. I love it. 8 sideways, Andreas, perfect. That is just the score I was aiming for, actually. Yeah, 8 sideways. Oh yeah, 8 sideways. Yeah, forever, infinite. Thank you. 150. Thank you so much. You're wonderful, and it really makes a difference when everyone's so communicative and awesome in the chat and really sort of getting into it. So thanks a lot. I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Have a wonderful day or evening, whatever you're doing, wherever you are, and we'll see you again in a couple of weeks. Bye.